Good morning, everybody. Namaskar. This is Engineer Suraj Singh speaking for North India on this day, February 6, 2022, Sunday, 3:56 morning. 3:56 morning. नमस्कार, मैं सूरज सिंह भारत इंडिया से बोल रहा हूँ। आज फरवरी 6 2022 रविवार 3:56 सुबह के। आप सबको सोने का धन्यवाद, स्वप्न लेने का अच्छा स्वप्न लेने की ब्लेसिंग्स। My dear friends, this talk, every day I conduct in morning time for reasons of awareness, for reasons of everything that we cannot get otherwise, and topic being, coordination, engineering, etc., many such. You can say email ID, you can note it down if you wish. Title is same as quality, works, coordination, engineering, communication, concrete materials, civil field engineering, engineers contracts, safety, health, environment, designs, construction methods, arbitration, organizations. I concentrated a lot on thinking what to do about this, how to make more interesting this talk, because it has been going on, I think, 2 years. This talk about majority of engineering subjects, majority of engineering topics, and also you can say various other subjects from time to time, including COVID-19, certain political issues, certain national issues, certain international issues. But national issues and international issues keep on changing from time to time. There's variation in that. COVID also changes from time to time, sometimes ups and sometimes down. People call in their own way, means I don't care for that. It's a part of our life now. COVID-19 is part of our life, same way. Bad qualities are part of life. Mistrust is our part of life, and you can say non-seriousness is our part of life. Stress is our part of life. Tension is our part of life. Happiness has gone from everybody. Those who have money, they think, or those who can call our haves, they think that they are happy. And those who don't have money, they think they are not happy. And we cannot define what is happiness. HAPPY, happy we call. It's very difficult to define what does happy mean. It's also very difficult to elect or to because establish what is sadness, what is condolence, or what is upsetting mind situation. It depends upon from person to person how you can adopt something, what your way of happiness, what's your thinking, and that's why everything should be considered from this consideration or from that consideration. That's what is we have to think, and certifications, other certifications, various certifications. Every time I talk of certifications, and you know each certificate what is about. Certain certificates are engineering certificates, certain certificates are competence certificates, certain certificates are something else, and likewise. That's not main issue here. You know all these. What I'm talking is I'm just keeping these certificates closed for time being. You know them just for display. I should just displacing them because for certificate closed. But I don't know which one is closed by chance. It is professional engineer. Quality file is there. Suraj Singh. I think that one address file has gone by error. No problem. I'll open it again. Because it happened. That's an important file. I can't close that. That's a very important file, and I have to close something else. No problem, no issue. That's no issue. No. Issues happen, issues come, and issues gone. It keeps on moving like that. Issue is not a big issue until we consider big. Life is life, and we have to consider each accordingly. And that's why I said. I don't repeat these certificates. I have just to say that what are important. Quality is important, you can say, and user coordination is important. I kept on thinking about how to reflect my views. मैं अपने विचार आपके पास कैसे पहुंचाऊं? ये मैं सोचता रहा काफ़ी समय तक सोचता रहा। पढ़ा लिखा हूँ थोड़ा बहुत, तो इसे सोचना भी आदत बन गई है। ये मेरा नेचर हो गया है कि सोचो। मैं ये नहीं सोचता कि मैं पैसे कैसे कमाऊं, मैं सोचता हूँ कि मैं आगे कैसे सोचूं। यू गेट माई पॉइंट। मेरा सोचने का तरीका थोड़ा अलग है, पीछे एक अलग बैकवर्ड समझ लीजिए आप, मैं बैकवर्ड हूँ। बैकवर्ड सोच में मैं सोचता हूँ कि आगे कैसे सोचें। लोग सोचते हैं कि मैं आगे कैसे बढ़ के पैसे कमाऊँ, लेकिन मेरी सोच दूसरी, पैसे कमें नहीं कमें, आने हैं नहीं आने हैं, वो तो जो होना है वो होना है। लेकिन जहाँ तक मैंने समझा है, जो हमारा मस्तिष्क है, जो हमारा माइंड है, जो हमारी आत्मा है, इसका कोई अंत नहीं है। आप माने या ना माने इस बात को, ही आपके हाथ में है। लेकिन माइंड की जो शक्ति है, व्हाट इज पावर ऑफ माइंड, इट इज अनलिमिटेड। इट कैन टेक यू टू वॉट एवर एक्सटेंट दैट आई हैव एक्सपीरियंस्ड। I don't say that your line stops at your education level. In fact, when education ends, your life starts to learn another unknown degree which cannot be entitled. I am from engineering world. We call it engineering world, otherwise it's also normal world. But sometimes you have to define yourself by differentiation, by distinction, that whether you are an engineer or you are a doctor or you are a professor or you are a teacher or you are arts person, you are science person, whatever you are, politician or whosoever you are, that is just identification. बट वन पॉइंट इज़ वेरी क्लियर, एक चीज़ बड़ी सामान्य है सब में, किस तरह से आप अपने आप को आगे बढ़ाते हैं, अपने जीवन में किस तरह परफॉर्म करते हैं। एक तो प्रोफेशनल परफॉर्मेंस होती है, लेकिन जब बात आती है जीवन में परफॉर्मेंस की, आप जितने भी समय के लिए इस ज़मीन पे आए हैं, बचपन से और जब तक आपको यहाँ रहना है, उस समय में आप अपने आप को क्या समझते हैं। कुछ लोगों को होता है कि मैं बहुत बड़ा बन जाऊँ, कुछ लोगों को होता है कि बस खाते रहें, कमाते रहें, सोते रहें, और कुछ लोगों को होता है कि हम कुछ ऐसा करें जो हमें भी ना समझ आए कि हम क्यों कर रहे हैं। You don't understand what I mean? It's a laughing statement otherwise. Means I want to think something, you have to think something. Means I don't know what's going to happen. Actually, nobody knows. हम नहीं जानते क्या होने वाला है. I don't know what shall happen after 1 hour, 2 hours, this moment, that moment. But something shall definitely happen. I have to exist or I not to exist, either of these two. And if I exist, what shall happen then? That's what we have to contemplate. And we can say somebody calls it visionary person, somebody calls it a sleeping person, somebody calls it a stupid person, somebody calls intelligent person. Means you can define whatever way we can take. But we have to see that life moves on practically in the right direction to our understanding. It may be wrong direction, but maybe it's nice to my right direction. So what I say, you can evaluate your way. You can consider whatever formula you want to apply on your life. You want to live a peaceful life, or you want to live a money life, or you want to live, you can say, God-related life. You want to progress in life for others, or you want to just store money for you, or you want, means whatever way you want to be a storekeeper, or you want to be a self-leader, or you can be self-evolver, or you have intention that I have to help this world change, because I have come to this world for what? That is my question. It's not a spiritual question, it's a practical question. It's a question, logical one. I have come to this world for certain duration. That duration varies from maybe since birth to death, maybe 100 years, 50 years, 40, or whatever number of years it is. I have to stay, or what's my purpose? Why I have come? And that answer is that I have to improve this earth. I'm not concerned what's my family. In first place, I say is there. Because without family, you can't be there. But that is only a resource, that is only a route. Once you enter a family, everyone is independent once you grow up, and you have to select your direction and your way. It depends on your selection, what capacity you had for that selection. And working in that selection, that field shall tell you what you are. And that's where, we have to see ourselves in one perspective, other perspective, and that perspective is always there. So talk that is inclined in this or other days, particularly engineering, I say, that's of course it is very elective, very optional, but coordination is not optional. Though I'm using this coordination engineering because I'm going to talk about engineering coordination, yet coordination is also independent. We are talking of coordination, and this means life itself has coordinational values. If you don't coordinate yourself in life on whatever matter, whatever substance, whatever subject, you can say there shall be no reliability in your life. You may not know what I have to do, what I have not to do. And that's what we can say. So, and of course, when coordination is concerned, this means issue of quality also comes into play. In that quality and coordination, I can combine together. And when I speak about ourselves, I can say that's for our country, or otherwise we can say it is generalized. And I give signals to myself about quality and coordination. I give flag waving for this. It may be sleeping flag indication or it may be awakening flag indication. Whatever is required we have to do. हमें क्या करना होता है, क्या नहीं करना होता है, हमें किस तरफ जाना है, किधर नहीं जाना है, हम कहाँ जाना चाहते हैं, ये हर व्यक्ति का अपना अपना तरीका होता है. कोई बहुत ऊंचा जाना चाहता है, वो ऊंचाई तो होती नहीं है, लेकिन हमें लगता है हम ऊंचे आ गए. कोई बहुत बड़ी पोस्ट पाना चाहता है, लेकिन हमें लगता है हमने बहुत कुछ पा लिया ज़िंदगी में, यहाँ आ गए. लेकिन हम ये भूल जाते हैं ना कोई पोस्ट यहाँ की वैल्यूएबल है, ना कोई यहाँ. आपकी सोच, आपका कर्म, आपने इस ज़मीन को क्या दिया. मैं ये नहीं कह रहा समाज को क्या दिया, मैं ज़मीन की बात कर रहा हूँ. हमने इस ज़मीन को, जिसको भगवान ने बनाया है और जो भगवान का आप कह सकते हैं डिलीवरी है, उसमें आपने क्या सहयोग किया. इसको आपने अच्छा बनाया या ख़राब बनाया, इसको आपने तोड़ा या इसकी आपने हेल्प की. वो वैल्यू ज़्यादा रखता है बजाय सब चीज़ों के कि मैंने कितना पैसा कमाया, हम कितने पैसे वाले कंट्री हैं, हम कितने पैसे वाले अमीर हैं. ना कोई अमीर है ना कोई गरीब है, क्योंकि यहाँ कोई है ही नहीं. ये बात धार्मिक नहीं है, ये बात रियल है कि हम यहाँ के हैं ही नहीं. सच तो यही है. अगर यहाँ के होंगे तो मरेंगे नहीं. यहाँ के होंगे तो कई लोग होते जो हजारों साल से जी रहे होते, लाखों साल से जी रहे होते. लेकिन ऐसा नहीं है. इसका मतलब हम एक भ्रम में तो रह रहे हैं, लेकिन भ्रम में भी तो कर्म होता है. हमारा एक ही मंजिल है, जिस तरह हम जा रहे हैं उस तरफ से. ऐसी हमसे कोई गलती ना हो कि हम किसी को मार दें, किसी को तोड़ दें, इस ज़मीन को तोड़ दें, नुकसान कर दें. असली इंजीनियरिंग यही है कि हमने इस ज़मीन की मेंटेनेंस कैसे की, इसकी सर्विस कैसे की और इसको आगे कैसे बढ़ाया. How we have done for this work, what we have done for this, what's my contribution towards this, what is my contribution to keep it safe. If I cannot keep it safe in whatever position I am, then I am helpless to help it. I have no capacity to help it. I may be very responsible, I may be very, you may say, lucky that I am suppose I am atomic nuclear scientist and I use my knowledge for destructive work. Then what's my value in eyes of universe? I am a destructor. If same I go for making it better, then my value shall be different. You know, we have to get a job somewhere after our death. Do you understand that? You don't understand that. When we apply for job here on earth, we make CV and we reflect our achievements in CV, and then we are called for interview for job here on earth. Don't you understand that your experience of your whole life, your achievements of whole life shall be recorded in your CV? You are not making, but it's under construction, don't worry. And according to that achievement only, you shall be shortlisted and called for interview. And you are not ready for interview, or you are ready for interview, that your time will tell. Nobody can say today. Who knows, I was somewhere else in my previous birth? I cannot say. I don't believe in what religions say. I don't believe that. Because religions are not my deciders. I don't value any religion for my purpose. Yes, religions are there, that is different. But my religion or your religion cannot decide about your future or your future time after leaving this body. So I don't worry about that, but I worry about what I do. What I do, that is important. Do I do according to what should be done? or I don't do according to what should be done. And that's my point of view which I use in this title. And that title is very, very, you can say, reasonably drafted, because after all we have to work. We work in whatever profession, whatever occupation, wherever we are, we have to work. Even if we have money, suppose I have enough money, I don't need any work, I can live and enjoy life. Can I do continuously? I cannot do. Okay, for 1 day, 2 days, 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, you do same thing, don't work. You shall become a patient. You shall become a sick person, because you sleep, sleep, sleep and sleep. Or you don't sleep, don't sleep, don't sleep. Both ways are contradictory. और आई कैन से एक्सेस ऑफ एवरीथिंग इज बैड दिस वीक ऑफ. हम कहते हैं सब जरूरत से ज़्यादा कोई भी काम करना गलत होता है. गलत मतलब वो डाइजेस्ट नहीं होता है. गलत का मतलब ये नहीं है कि आप बहुत काम करेंगे तो गलत है. काम करते जाइए, लेकिन रेस्ट भी ज़रूरी होता है, क्योंकि रेस्ट में रिलैक्सेशन होती है, रिफाइनमेंट होती है, और जो आपके थक जाते हैं माइंड के सेल्स वो काम करते हैं. इसीलिए क्वालिटी आप में कितनी है काम करने की, वो भी इशू है. आप अंधाधुंध काम करते जाएंगे तो क्वालिटी तो नहीं मिलेगी. हाँ, प्रोडक्शन जरूर मिल जाएगी, लेकिन वो प्रोडक्शन का कोई फ़ायदा नहीं है जब क्वालिटी नहीं होगी. और आपको हर काम से अगले काम करने में सोचना पड़ता है, ये भी आवश्यक है. इसलिए हमने कहा क्वालिटी वर्क्स, कोऑर्डिनेशन इंजीनियरिंग, कम्युनिकेशन, these are all very important parameters we have to consider in our life. Without quality, without coordination engineering, without communication, we cannot start doing anything, and we don't trust anything if that work or that material does not have quality material in that, quality parameter in that, or character in that. And we cannot call that concrete work. Concrete material is different, but as far as concrete work is concerned, we have to depend on all these parameters. And of course, I'm talking of civil field engineering. And when civil field engineering comes into our dealing, we have to deal with contracts, and we have to deal with safety issues and design issues and construction issues. Likewise, you can say that's the reason I keep these two files open always for purpose of quality and coordination. And I say quality and coordination are linked to quality and coordination engineering, because there are many questions we are not answered in quality and coordination, and these are, sleeping or not sleeping, that's a point. Are we sleeping from quality point of view, or we are working for quality? Every citizen, every person, every professional around world has to answer. Can I work without quality in profession, or I can work without quality? That is also one question. We are friends together for all others. Yes, that's right. Friends means I say we are friends as far as quality and coordination is concerned. My friends are quality and coordination and work. So work is there. Work cannot be done without quality and without coordination. And if you keep on sleeping, and mind it, I am not talking sleeping by closing eyes. I am talking sleeping in soul, sleeping in your thinking power. And that power सोच की शक्ति है. आप किस तरह सोचते हैं, उस पावर की मैं बात कर रहा हूँ. आप किस तरह सोचते हैं, क्या सोचते हैं, कैसे सोचते हैं. सोच ही आपको कहाँ से कहाँ लेके जाएगा, और कोई आपको नहीं लेके जाएगा. ये भी बात जरूरी है कि आपका सोच आपके किस काम आएगा, कैसे आएगा. वो सोच आपका कैसा है. आप अगर अच्छे काम करने की सोचेंगे, इंजन का काम करने की सोचेंगे, सही काम करने की सोचेंगे, तो सोच आपकी उसी तरफ से आएगी. और कहेंगे नहीं, कोई मेरे को तो करख रहा है, मिल जाए, मैं किसी आदमी का काम नाम करूँ, या कोई मेरे लिए काम करके जाए और मैं कहूँगी मैंने किया, वो सोच आपको कुछ भी नहीं करने देगी. बात को थोड़ा समझिए. क्वालिटी भी आपने लानी है, और क्वालिटी भी आप ही ने ख़राब करनी है. काम भी सही आपने करना है, काम खराब भी आपने करना है. It is you only, and no one is responsible for good work or bad work. Everything you have to do, and you have to decide yourself. No fortune decides, no stars decide, nothing else decides except yourself. You are responsible for everything, and that's very important point. And that's why I say we have to fix quality everywhere, but also in our country. That's important. Fix quality in Bharat, India. Come what may, कुछ भी क्यों ना हो जाए, हमें क्वालिटी, हमें गुणवत्ता को फिक्स करना है, लाना है. No excuse for concession. इसको छोड़ने का, इसको हवा देने का कोई भी मना, कोई भी माफ़ी नहीं है, क्षमा नहीं, क्वालिटी आपको लानी होगी। वर्क्स क्वालिटी कैन नॉट बी कॉम्प्रोमाइज्ड, क्वालिटी का हम कंप्रोमाइज़ नहीं कर सकते, काम करने की क्वालिटी का। और इसीलिए हम कॉम्प्रोमाइज़ नहीं करने की सोचते, नहीं करने की इच्छा रखते कि हम सिस्टम को फॉलो करें, जो भी सिस्टम बना, लेकिन वो क्वालिटी ना दे। ऐसे सिस्टम को हम फ्रजाइल कह सकते हैं। शीशे का सिस्टम तो दिखाने को तो है, लेकिन शक्ति नहीं है। ओपेक ट्रांसपेरेंट तो है, लेकिन वो क्षमता नहीं है जो होनी चाहिए। उसको कंप्लायंस नहीं कर पा रहा है जो हमको चाहिए। क्वालिटी सिस्टम फेल हो सकता है, काम फेल हो सकते हैं, लेकिन काम सही होने चाहिए, वो ज़्यादा आवश्यक है। फेल तो कोई भी हो सकता है, फेल होने का क्या है, लेकिन पास होने में मेहनत करनी पड़ती है। पास नकल मार के होने को भी फेल होना ही कहते हैं। हमारे देश में क्या हो रहा है वो हमको समझना होगा, दूसरे देशों में क्या हो रहा है वो भी हमको समझना होगा, और हमारी कहाँ कहाँ पे प्रॉब्लम्स हैं वो भी समझना होगा। We have to understand what's happening in our country, and we have to understand what's happening in other countries, and we have to find whatever problems in our life, in profession, in work, or economy wise, or practical wise, or public wise, or otherwise. We are very concerned about our own individuality. Everybody is concerned. In every family, irrespective of economical status, we are concerned about each and every person of family. We have to move forward. We don't think whether a nation would fall or not, whether a world would form or not. That we never care for. And that's where we can say it's a point of concern. There are so many barricades, so many speed breakers in our life when quality is considered. Because quality means checks everywhere, checks, definitions, controls everywhere, and generally people never are inclined to be controlled, whatever world it would be. कोई नहीं चाहता कि हम पे कंट्रोल किया जाए, लेकिन कंट्रोल तो जरूरी है। कंट्रोल का मतलब ये नहीं कि आपको बांध दिया जाएगा। कंट्रोल का मतलब डिसिप्लिन है, एक तरीका है कि आपको इस लिमिट में रहना है, क्योंकि हम एक साथ रह रहे हैं, आप अकेले नहीं रह रहे हैं। जिसको हम कहते हैं लॉ या ऑर्डर, वो क्या होता है, इसी होता है भाई इस सिस्टम में इस हद तक आप फ्री हैं, उसके बाद आप फ्री नहीं हैं। इसका मतलब ये भी नहीं कि आप गुलाम हैं, क्योंकि मैं अकेला नहीं हूँ, मेरे साथ कोई और भी है, और मेरी स्वतंत्रता मेरे लिए ज़रूरी है, उसकी स्वतंत्रता उसके लिए ज़रूरी है, और स्वतंत्रता भी डिफाइंड है। वही बात है कि आप काम में कितना लापरवाही दिखाते हैं, वो लापरवाही की भी एक लिमिट होनी चाहिए, और काम आप कितनी सतर्कता से, कितने विजिलेंस से, कितने क्वालिटी पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से करते हैं, वो भी एक आवश्यक है। वी हैव टू गाइड, एंड दैट्स व्हाई आई एम सेइंग certain red lines that must be turned green, and that must be a must just to cross that crossing, that route, that area, that intersection. These red lines work until green lines is not on, and we have to stop there, but we have to move also from there, and that's where we can say we have to concentrate about, we have to think on. Can we know and apply quality standards complied with overseas for supply, or example in other countries? Yes, that we have to think relatively. That's not basic also. Somebody will say, oh, why is talking of that country? I'm not talking of some other country, but we have to see what is easy for them they can do, and what's difficult for us we cannot do. If they can do, why we cannot do? My question is that they are on same world, they are using same resources, they are same humans like us, and even then, if we ignore, this means there is something wrong in ours. Material is same, technology is same, every aspect of life is same. Then what is the reason we are not working according to what they can do, or why we are not working better than what they can do? So that is what we say. Can we know and apply quality standards complied with other countries? Can we work on coordination activities to achieve defined or expected quality profile of works? Why we should not revisit quality required specifications and update per word working standards requirements? हम आप कह सकते हैं तालमेल क्यों नहीं कर सकते काम करने के लिए? हम संतुलित क्यों नहीं रह सकते? हम समझ में क्यों नहीं आ सकते? किसी भी काम करने के लिए कोई भी जो दिया गया उसे कैसे करना है, क्या हम उस क्वालिटी को नहीं ला सकते? ये हमें सोचना चाहिए। कोई भी हम क्यों ना हो, हम कितने भी पढ़े लिखे क्यों ना हो, लेकिन पढ़ाई लिखाई तभी काम आती है जब सही तरह से समझा जाए और उसको किया जाए। खाली ये कागज़ का सर्टिफिकेट लेके हम दीवार पे लगाने के लिए पढ़ाई नहीं करते, हम करते हैं एजुकेशन कि वो हमारे काम है। वाई डू वी एजुकेट आवर सेल्स? बिकॉज वी वांट टू अप्लाई दैट नॉलेज, वी गेट नॉलेज आफ्टर एजुकेशन इज डन, एंड दैट नॉलेज मस्ट बी अप्लाइड टू रिक्वायरमेंट्स, and if you cannot apply that, you fail. There is no difference between educated person and uneducated person. Both are same, no difference at all. If you have to speak language or do something, no, I don't say that. We have to learn something, application, and that is what we can say process of you can say some production is. So what we say, our state, I consider that we in this country, our state of quality is in worsening order. You may say, well, you may blame me for that by calling worsening order. Yes, we are in worsening order. We are not in progressive order. We are not in moving towards making something better. Because we are not in serious state of life. When seriousness goes away, I am not saying seriousness means just sit down and think. No, it means we have to keep moving with will, with determination, with commitment. And that will, that determination, that commitment depends on your determination, individual determination. Individual determination can define only group determination, and group, of course, there is some gradation and degradation in that, during which there will be some erosion en route when you say after dedication or determination you move forward. Maybe your determination 100%, other person who works with you, that person's determination may be little less, so average becomes less. As more and more join in that group, more and more enhancement or more and erosion continues, and it depends. When you calculate average, it is this much, maybe 60%, maybe 70%, maybe 80%, or in rare cases 100%. Then what should be done? Once you can say average is this, okay, we can take care of average, we can move forward, that our average quality is this, but is that also possible? And how to improve that? And how to bring it to label which also is very strong, it's concrete one. And that's why you say worsening state of quality of concrete, and how to improve such mandated quality to certain minimum required marks, and that's very important point to consider. Concrete component and constructions amount to major percentage of cost. Therefore, it becomes incumbent on us to care about quality of such component. That's, you can say. Another point is, it's of course out of common and professional understanding that why have no seriousness in this regard? Why we are not serious? Again, question is that worsening state of communication and coordination during working for engineering designs, executions, and construction activities. Yes, that's the point. Worsening state of communication and coordination during working for engineering designs and executions or construction activities. If as a situation, अगर ऐसी हालत है कि हम संचार भी सही नहीं कर सकते और हम तालमेल समन्वय भी सही नहीं बढ़ा सकते, तो भाई कैसे गाड़ी चलेगी? गाड़ी चलाने में भी तो कम्युनिकेशन कोऑर्डिनेशन चाहिए। आप कार ड्राइव करते हैं, बाइक ड्राइव करते हैं, क्या होता है उसमें? संचार और कोऑर्डिनेशन तो होता है। आप ये नहीं कह सकते मैं ही अकेला हूँ ड्राइव यहाँ पर करने के लिए, सैकड़ों गाड़ी चल रही है सड़क पे, आपको उनसे भी कम्युनिकेट करना है, वो सिग्नल से सही, इंडिकेटर से सही, हॉर्न से सही, कैसे भी सही, मिरर से सही। और कोऑर्डिनेशन रहना है आपको अपने आप से, आपको खुद भी ड्राइव सही करना है। आप ये नहीं कह सकते उसको करने दो मैं नहीं करूँगा, या मैं करता हूँ वो नहीं करता है। एक दूसरे के साथ बात भी करनी पड़ेगी कम्युनिकेशन में, सिग्नल्स लैंग्वेज में, और कोऑर्डिनेशन अपने आप से करनी पड़ेगी आपको। किस तरह मैकेनिज्म है गाड़ी का, ऑटोमेटिक गियर है, नॉन ऑटोमेटिक गियर है, मैनुअल है, कैसे आपको ड्राइव करना है, कितनी स्पीड पे करना है, कहाँ सही है, कहाँ रेटेड है, ये सब करना पड़ता है। और वही बात तो हम कह रहे हैं, अगर आपको ड्राइव करने में ये सब नहीं करेंगे तो एक्सीडेंट हो जाएगा, आपकी गाड़ी ख़राब हो जाएगी, आप दूसरे पे ठोक मिला के मार देंगे गाड़ी, एक्सीडेंट कर देंगे। वही बात हम अपने क्वालिटी के लिए कह रहे हैं। गाड़ी चलाने में वही तो क्वालिटी सिस्टम है। आपने गाड़ी चला रहे हैं, आँख मीच के आप नहीं चला सकते, टनलिंग एफेक्ट आ जाएगा आँख में, आप एक्सीडेंट कर देंगे। अरे गाड़ी तो 160 की स्पीड जा रही थी लेकिन मुझे लग रहा था 80 की स्पीड पे है। ऐसा होता है, हाईवे पे ऐसा होता है, जहाँ सड़क अच्छी हो, गाड़ी अच्छी हो, स्पीड से चलती हो, अच्छा स्मार्ट सब कुछ हो, आप चलाए जा रहे हैं, गाड़ी जा रही है, शुरू से तो बड़ी तेज़ जा रही है, बाद में तो यार ये तो तेज़ है नहीं, हल्की, लेकिन वो जा रही है तेज़, क्योंकि आपकी कंसंट्रेशन फोकस हो गई, टनलिंग में चले गए आप। टनलिंग आप समझते हैं, एक ऐसा स्क्वायर थोड़ी सी आंखों के सामने फेस का थोड़ा सा हिस्सा होता है, वही आपको दिखाई देगा, बाकी दिखाई नहीं देगा। कुछ चल नहीं रही गाड़ी, ऐसे तो यार लगता है 80-60 पे चल रही है, लेकिन चल रही है 180 पे, 120 पे, 130 पे, और वहीं से प्रॉब्लम शुरू हो जाती है, क्योंकि आपके कंट्रोल लूज हो गए, आप लूज हो गए, सब चीज़ों में कंट्रोल लूज कर दिया आपने, यू लॉस्ट योर कंट्रोल्स और यू आर नॉट अंडरस्टैंडिंग व्हाट्स हैपनिंग बिकॉज ऑफ कंसंट्रेशन, बिकॉज ऑफ continuation of that speed, which is normal speed, is nothing like that. And that's why I'm saying, what I say is communication and coordination have worsened actually. We can't communicate properly, that should be required. And when communication is impure or it's not complete, you cannot pass 100% your opinions to others, your message to others. It has become a short word, shorthand word like that. Communication is very, very brief. They say, okay, Twitter, it is just give 140 or 270 words. You can say that. You have to be brief. While brief is not enough, you have to explain. There's a difference between two, briefest and maximum, or minimum words or maximum words. Point is, communication should be clear. That is requirement. I sometimes was surprised to see in the Arab world, when I interacted with, generally I used to interact with Arab people, and I discovered that Arabs have one habit. They explain you something, or they ask you something. Say they explain to you something. First time they explain, talk continues. Then after some time he says same thing again, and then after some time it doesn't happen with him one time, many times. But I realized that they want to make sure. They want to make sure. Have you understood? Same I observed when we interact with American people. They do same thing. You know that what he has said, but even then, to make sure that person asks him, have you any question, some question, better you ask now rather than doing wrong work. That was basics behind that. And that person wants to make sure that you got it 100%, and he wants to make sure you won't commit any error. That is only, it's not that. Means sometimes what happens, we don't listen properly. It happens with everybody. You are going to talk to someone, of course you have schedule for that, you talk, but you are not happy with that person, or there may be some other reason, and you don't care 100%, or you are not fully present there during that moment of talk, or you are getting some instruction, or you are interacting with someone. Some points are overlooked, some points are skipped, you skip some points, and those points are very important one. That's why you did not understand 100%, maybe 70%, maybe 80%. But that 20% or 30% misunderstanding shall create problem for you until it is in writing or get in writing. And it is difficult to get in detailed writing from many world people like Arabs, like Americans, and likewise you can say many other countries. Writing complete is very, very uneasy for them. I say England is better in this case. At least they try to give you written document. And when written document comes into picture, means there is no question. You have to read in your own way. It doesn't make that you are not understanding accent of that person. But you read it properly and you get it. That's why writing is very important. Writing is very important, and that means written communication is very important. Written communication is very important. That's my purpose to explain this. And when writing is there, you may have many writings for one part or one work. This means all written statements should be communicable and workable. It's not the one statement says one part, other says something else. You cannot then work. This means Communication and coordination are interlinked. Without communication, we cannot coordinate, and without coordination, we cannot make decisions, or decision in a sense, what is combination of these properties or this information to do work. We have to work out that. And that's what we say. Role of engineers start. We can say determined and dedicated role of engineers towards realizing these requirements. Good question one is. My explanation purpose is not to say you're not doing well, but just to refine, just to refresh what we do. What is system, how system works, what it should do, how does it work, how can it work better. We have to do it accordingly, and we have to decide. And for that purpose I can say, I prepared this file of quality long back, and I kept on changing it from time to time. And also there's another file, and which is called Coordination Engineering Projects and Engineers, and also that we can say this is for reliable quality engineering works deliveries. For reliable quality engineering works deliveries. This is my particular fixed statement in this, that my coordination, my engineering, I have to think on coordination engineering. So it's not formal subject, but it's subject in every subject. It is inserted subject, you can say. There is no separate world of coordination, but coordination is available everywhere. And it's like ventilator. It's like oxygen, without which you and I cannot get anything. And on projects particularly, when it's engineering projects and engineers are involved, reliable quality engineering works deliveries are very important, because engineering works are, you can say, not ordinary works. These are valuable works and technology based works, and we should be very serious about them. And you can say communication support for reliable coordination can result into many better projects. You can say this is a building, group of buildings here. It's not something that is today. This exists in somewhere around Baghdad. I'm just keeping it because I was here on this project for some time, long back. And same way, here's a plant. It's a picture of a plant. You can see it's huge. I've shown you before also this. Wide, powerful work it is. You can say it is oil field, oil project, or oil related project. Such projects are produced by combined engineering, or you can say group of engineering, group engineerings, where many branches of engineering come into play. If these engineering disciplines, the engineering branches don't work together, we cannot produce such, you can say, mega projects. We cannot build cities from wood. We cannot do anything as such. अगर हम कोऑर्डिनेशन नहीं करेंगे, कम्युनिकेशन नहीं करेंगे, सोच नहीं लगाएंगे, तो हम ऐसा कोई भी काम नहीं कर सकते। विकास का किसी भी देश में नहीं हो सकता। कोई मजाक नहीं है विकास करना। विकास करने के लिए बड़े बड़े लोग आते हैं बीच में, मेहनत करते हैं, दिमाग लगाते हैं, पैसा लगता है, मटेरियल लगता है, रिसोर्स लगता है, और जाके प्रोसेस होता है, टेक्नोलॉजी होती है, और तब विकास होता है। इसलिए बहुत लंबा सफ़र है। जीवन अपने आप में एक होता है विकास करना। विकास में क्या क्या होता है, विकास करने वाले ही जानते हैं, बाकी तो बातें करते हैं। कोऑर्डिनेशन इंजीनियरिंग भी वही एक सिस्टम इंजीनियरिंग है जो हर इंजीनियरिंग में चलती है। कोई भी इंजीनियरिंग इसके बिना नहीं चल सकती। यहाँ तक कि हमारी ज़िंदगी भी कोऑर्डिनेशन के बिना नहीं चल सकती। और हम जब कोऑर्डिनेट करते हैं तो अच्छी तरह से समझते हैं हमने क्या किया। हम किसी भी प्रश्न का उत्तर दे सकते हैं, कोई भी प्रश्न कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि हमने कोऑर्डिनेट किया, हमने हर जगह क्लब किया, यहाँ पर ये गलती है, यहाँ ये गलती है, और हम इसको ऐसे सही कर सकते हैं। यही कोऑर्डिनेशन होती है। एक दूसरे इन्फॉर्मेशन को समझना, एक दूसरे की बात को समझना, उसको लेके साथ चलना. We have to be with others in coordination process. We have to see every information, whether or not this information is applicable, whether or not this information is right for this work. And if we think there's some error, we can correct that error, we can set that. We can dig out, or we can say debug, whatever we can say. And there will be many information related to one activity, one work, or there will be many work that depends on one information, which we call typical work or standard works. So coordination applies on every activity, coordination applies in our life also. If we don't coordinate with our family members, we cannot interact, we cannot talk to them. Same way, if we don't activate, if we are not active on this, we can't do anything that's important. And that's why I consider coordination engineering is very significant part of life of an engineer or other professional, whoever. But engineering is here because it's original work. We have to start from scrap. In other fields, scrap is not necessary. They start from build up. That's the only difference. We have to create our patient and we have to treat our patient. You get my point. Doctor treats a patient which doctor doesn't make, but we have to deal with a patient that we make first it. We first make patient and then handle that patient. So it's different kind of world. It is means I'm not a person. I'm something, nothing. I'm nothing. I generate something and then handle that something and then make it better. That's what is engineering. Means nothing is available. That's why I say only land is available, nature is available, earth is available, and you have to work upon that. That's called engineering. What my point? Engineering is raw, of course it's not perfectly raw because earth is available, water is available, nature is available. Then we do engineering on that. If there's no earth, there's nothing, No engineering, no science, nothing. This is what I need to say, though that stage is not, I'm just, it's imagination only, I'm trying to tell you. Imagine, because images, we say imagination, why we say imagination? We don't know that. Some picture in our mind, that picture, though it's not clear, but it's effective. Picture is effective, that's the reason it comes to my mind in integrated form. Though I can't understand in that imagination, but when you start doing anything, when we start bringing that to a piece of paper, then it comes gradually, and like you can say, you naturally copy and paste on your paper. And that's we say this is something conceptual, we can call it. And it's not easy one because in your mind also on an individual basis we coordinate, and that's really very important point. You have to see this coordination engineering, and that's really you may say it's very very easy or uneasy, I can't say, but it's very reliable. We cannot do without that. So when I say I do this file of coordination, I try to deal with everybody about this coordination engineering. I name it, though there's no some subject in engineering program about coordination, but coordination is used everywhere. There's no engineering branch where coordination is not used. There is nothing else where coordination is not used. Maybe formally it's not understood, but we say you coordinate together. In general language also, you talk to someone, say, okay, you go and coordinate together. Sometimes people are confused between coordination and lesson. I'm not talking of lesson, I'm talking of coordination, which is a professional word, which is a technical word. Coordination is technical. It's not just digging file, no. It's not just we have to find some files or we have to deal with something and give it to someone. No. It is technology. Technology of involvement. Technology of integration. Technology of scrutiny. Technology of technical work. Move together. Technical works move together. Something that its effectiveness is to be investigated. Whatever information we have, its effectiveness is to be investigated, and its links to other investigative effective items to be checked. Means there are so many URLs, there are so many hyper links, whatever are there. And we have to understand and link all those just like we do on internet. It's not simply copy paste. No, we cannot say I got this information from the paste here. You can paste only once you have investigated that or gone through that or analyzed that. It's not if you just get information, put in there, that's you can say copy paste, and that is lesson. I'm not thinking of lesson, I'm thinking of coordination. So coordination is some information we get from somewhere. We have to understand that whether or not it applies to our requirement. If it doesn't apply to our requirements, this is it cannot function there. Even if you paste it, it's no use. Even if they are just present and nothing, it won't add anything to that one. It should work for my problem solving or my enhancement of information or my additional value to my already available information. And that's we can say is a part of coordination. I have to move that coordinated information with my coordinates. That's what's required. Therefore, I say coordination engineering, we have to differentiate coordination engineering with others. And that is important point. So what I say in coordination engineering is why it is required, and there is reason for that. Projects are projects. We can say, as you can see here written on the screen, you can read designs, construction and controls. Designs, you know what is meaning of designs. Designs, construction and controls are very interrelated. Very interrelated, no doubt of that. Without design, then we no construction. Without construction, no controls. So designs, constructions and controls are very interrelated, and required sections for achieving from unsuccessful start to completion. From successful start, I'm saying, I think I spoke unsuccessful, I apologize for that. Designs, construction and controls are very interrelated. Required sections for achieving from successful start to completion of a project, which all must be applicable. Which all what? Which all means designs, construction and controls must be applicable throughout project stages, with all works be smoothly affected. डिजाइन को हिंदी में क्या कहते हैं? डिजाइन ही कहते होंगे. निर्माण, नियंत्रण उतने ही आवश्यक हैं हर प्रोजेक्ट पर, हर काम पर, उस काम की शुरुआत से उस काम के खत्म होने तक, समाप्त होने तक. उसके बिना गुजारा नहीं है. Designs may be considered oversafe or optimum, but real construction involves actual expenses. You have to keep in mind. We are spending money, and not only money, materials also, natural materials. Involves actual expenses, contract time, financial liabilities, and buildings professional reputation. Building professional reputation and buildings professional, both are there. You have to make your professional reputation, and buildings means your work's professional reputation. It should be a certain motto of an organization to apply good controls on project. It's not means my motto, organization's motto, to apply good controls on project so as to keep in line to schedule, planning being an actual part of controls. Control includes progress, control, what control I'm talking. Control includes progress, cost escalation, time, budget, quality requirement, assurance, coordination engineering, as well as total engineering, and safety risks covering and delays recoveries. Whole controls have entered here. Progress. Everybody wants progress. Cost. Everybody wants to understand value of cost and keep within cost. And cost escalation. But cost escalation happens due to whatever reasons. We'll discuss that. Time, budget, quality requirement, and I'm saying requirement assurance. You have to be sure that quality won't be impacted upon adversely. Coordination engineering, as I'm stressing on, coordination engineering as well as total engineering. Total engineering includes coordination engineering, includes quality engineering, includes all other points in this paragraph. And of course, safety risks, total engineering and safety risks covering and delay recoveries. These are very clear points. अब ये किसी को समझ आए नहीं आए इसका मैं इलाज नहीं कर सकता. आप इस फील्ड में हैं नहीं भी हैं तब भी ये समझ आना चाहिए. बहुत कॉमन है ये, वेरी वेरी कॉमन इट इज. These are all integrated divisions which should move in unison to achieve project deliveries target. These are all integrated divisions, not isolated one. Integrated means linked one in circuit, in process train. These are all in train divisions. It should move in unison to achieve project delivery target. हमारे जो भी टारगेट फिक्स किए हैं पाने के लिए, डिलीवरी देने के लिए, ये सब एक साथ मिलके ही काम करते हैं, अलग अलग काम नहीं कर सकते. ये बात भी समझनी चाहिए. Without organizing, a well-designed project. Point number 6 here is a well-designed project could be jeopardized. You know what is jeopardized? A well-designed project could be jeopardized during construction phase. From budgetary viewpoint, should it not be given due required controls application properly. एक बहुत अच्छा डिज़ाइन किया हुआ प्रोजेक्ट भी खतरे में आ सकता है, आपातकाल में आ सकता है. इसके निर्माण के समय बजट के व्यू पॉइंट से अगर हमने उस पर ध्यान नहीं दिया, उस पर पूरा नियंत्रण नहीं लगाया और वो एप्लीकेशन को ख़राब कर सकता है. A well-designed project could be jeopardized during construction phase. From budgetary viewpoint, should it not be given due required controls application properly. Without organizing with full intensities, eagle eyes on project and construction controls, no project can be delivered in time and fixed budget. Keep in mind, I am also including design in this criteria because design is a project as well. Without organizing with full intensities, eagle eyes on project and construction controls, no project can be delivered in time and fixed budget. First act of project leader, therefore, must be to get into allotted budget and then to move project within its defined ambit, and of course it is a must. First act of project leader. First act of project leader is therefore a must. It must be to get into allotted budget and then to move project within its defined ambit. And one should remember that once money is lost, no possibility exists to retrieve or regain that lost money back. Money is lost means your capacity is lost, your power is lost. Because you relied on that money, I can do this project. But if you lose that one, for whatever reason, this means you have defected your strength. You have defected out of your capacity, financial capacity. One should remember that once money is lost, no possibility exists in to retrieve that money lost. Lost is lost. You can't get that money back. Analysis tool can be required to operate with complete dedication to carry out or conduct controls. Analysis tool, process of analysis, you understand what I mean? Analysis, very significant process in engineering and on project. Analysis is not easy. It requires your knowledge, it requires your concentration of mind, and it requires your expertise. Means analysis tool, or you can say tool to conduct analysis, can be required to operate with complete dedication to carry out or conduct controls. All required sections, relative activities, all required sections as indicated above. Related activities import total dedication from quality within such disciplines in actions as well as in works. Whereas all such acts certainly demand involvement of engineering coordination activities at each and every ongoing detailing review and to ensure constructability issues. All required sections as indicated in foregoing related activities import total dedication from quality within such disciplines in actions as well as in works. Whereas all such acts certainly demand involvement of engineering coordination activities at each and every ongoing detailing review and to ensure constructability. When we say ensure constructability, means it is pre-construction activity, pre-construction requirement, constructability. If you cannot give constructability, a construction person cannot work or works in wrong way, a way in which you never planned. And if you never planned in that way, this means your designs do not mean anything. That's point of this paragraph, it's a complicated one but very easy one to understand, that you have to fulfill requirement and you cannot deliver that requirement along with your product. And therefore, involvement of engineering coordination activities at each and every ongoing detailed review and ensure constructability issues. Constructability is very important part in engineering, and particularly not only in civil engineering, it's also very important part in mechanical engineering, because mechanical engineering is much more accurate than civil engineering. Accuracy is very important or par excellence in mechanical world. Otherwise, even a millimeter difference can create a problem. So as far as tolerance is concerned, it's much more in mechanical world than in construction world. Well, that is different, we'll talk about, that's just a point we try to understand. It can be plainly said that engineering coordination is an only formula. Formula I'm saying means it's a form, a varying form of course, to reach workable, consistent and competent solutions to achieve successful performance of for every activity, why is missing, I'm sorry, for every activity to be conducted to avoid possible delays. And this formula we have to understand. What is this formula? It's not mathematical formula, it's a style formula. It can be plainly said, that engineering coordination is an only formula to reach workable, consistent and competent solutions to achieve successful performance of every activity to be conducted to avoid possible delays. Now, some deliberations we are doing. This was just an introductory statement for this subject coordination engineering, though there is no subject, but I assume it as subject for my own consideration, or to just learn how to disseminate meaning of coordination. What's meaning of coordination? That's very important point. In fact, we cannot move without that. Such an important point it is. It's such an important point, you can say. Very, very important point it is. How to move with coordination, how to use coordination, how to think of this. And that's really surprising and interesting from viewpoint. I put off switch just now, please. I'm talking of coordination. This means I'm talking of construction coordination, engineering coordination, information coordination, and means, and that's really I discussed about these two. There are so many. I'm just showing this. I can show you many more if you wish. No problem for that. Just for example, a group of buildings. And buildings, when we consider construction, buildings means RCC work in general, reinforced cement concrete work. And this is not 1 cubic meter or 2 cubic meter. Thousands and thousands cubic meters of controls or concrete are required to be included in structural works. And this is for buildings, very quantities, of course, limited. It's not in comparison to dams or comparison to canals or comparison to you're in a quantity, or roads or airport paving. It goes on and on. Here it is very complicated work in every building, because massive blocks are rare except in raft or in major rafts, or you can say in some machine foundations, major foundations blocks. But if it's an ordinary way, you can say column quantity is very small. Of course, beams quantities always very small. Some quantities there in suspending slabs. But every element that we conduct, that we do in such structures, from foundations, substructures to above substructures, the superstructure, are very much dependent on available details. Those details you can call many disciplinaries, like architectural, many drawings for each element. Same way structural, and services which are generally involved in engineering. Well, what I mean to say is that RCC works cannot be done blindly. That is also a main point. Whatever work we do, RCC work in buildings, particularly in buildings, have been done or can be done based on complete information, complete detailing. Likewise, we can say plans, sections, elevations, bar bending schedules, procedures, and various quality levels, controls. Buildings works are always very complicated. So many items are involved, temporary items, you can say temporary preparation, temporary works, permanent works, and in between temporary works and permanent works, preparatory works. Buildings don't move very fast. It may be horizontal movement or vertical movement. Generally, horizontal movements takes a lot of time. and vertical movements also considerable time. We have enough time in some cases to study whole drawings, and we don't have enough time in many cases not to go through thoroughly. It also depends on drawing people, on design people. A lot informations are required to be included, worked out, and then issued for use. A long process, you can say. It's not easy just to explain in one sentence. Long process. Design itself is complete theory and complete application of mind and complete vision. It's not only application of theory, it's complete vision that is required. And then we say vision is required. As far as theory is concerned, I can depend on subjects. I can depend on what is my education or what is my knowledge, how much I could grasp. And as far as vision is concerned, no knowledge can give you except your own internal connections. That's where I only differ with education. Education cannot provide or equip you with imagination skill, and that is your own gift. And when that you have, you can change everything. And that's why I'm saying, and that coordination itself not seen. You cannot define coordination in physical world. It is your own instinct. How can you move? For someone, something takes time to understand. And for other person, it takes just a couple of minutes to understand. That's the only difference, nothing else. Means coordination says you have to move yourself with others. Nobody shall move you. You have to move yourself. And you have to keep in pace with them. You cannot go ahead too ahead, and you cannot remain too behind. If you are too ahead, they won't follow you. Or if you are too behind, you can't follow them. So coordination says, it instructs everyone, you have to move with them. Of course, you can be little advanced, or they can be little behind, and that is better if you are advanced because you can lead them. And if you are behind them, they will lead you. That's the only difference, nothing else. One is follower and one is leader. And that's why I say that RCC is very critical as far as works are concerned, and same applies to these processing plants where RCC plays very important role along with structural steel works. Structural steel works, RCC works. So much detail is available, not like buildings. There are some buildings also within these projects, but these are not high-rise. These are not voluminous. But other parts are there. You have to handle structural steel. You have to handle piping work, underground piping, above ground piping, all levels of piping. And that's why we can say nature moves from one domination to other domination. When we consider the road work, when we consider infrastructure, sewer line, we consider water line, we consider gas line, we consider general utilities, specific utilities, or you can say road work. Likewise, every engineering discipline changes according to its own nature. But when we say building works, such plants works, all these works, when we do, in its grain work stage, many activities are taken up, which cannot be counted in exact number, because every project has different approach, different scope of work. And if you combine all scopes, you'll find network of coordination itself, network of, you can say, information itself, which can be established on every project. And all documents, thousands of documents on every project, can speak together where do you want to go. And that's what I said here in the beginning. We have to talk of this, and that's why I said this brief statement. About designs, construction, controls has been just talked of, which is very much specific for purpose of analysis. We'll expand that later also. I don't say that this is a small 12-point statement is final. It's just an introductory statement for coordination purpose, just to justify, just to explain why I'm talking about that and why it should be done. It's not that I'm talking to you, it's only chance that I'm just interfere, just not to say interfere something, it's just a deliberation, kind of deliberation I have to do on this. We have to understand what we're talking about, because it's natural and it's required that every fresh engineer, we call it budding engineer, should know meaning of coordination. It's better if you know as early as possible in your career, rather than understanding it at later stage. Until that time, you have no way just to understand what I'm going to do. You have to come out of your disciplinary concentration. Oh, no, I am this engineer, it's not my job. You can't say that. You are you're a person to do the job. Don't forget that. Every engineer coming out of university is not just self-centered engineer. It's not just, okay, I am a civil engineer. I don't talk of mechanical engineering. I'm a mechanical engineer. I don't talk of this engineering. That understanding, that concept does not apply in engineering. Only one concept applies in engineering, and that is you have to produce, you have to manufacture, you have to process, or you have to construct. Only one point milestone in every engineering field. You have to do that if you are in engineering world, and otherwise you cannot be successful. I just wanted to deliberate on those requirement of quality, requirement of coordination, requirement of improvement. And when I say coordination pulls into every discipline, sub-disciplines or titles or subjects into consideration, into your brainstorming session, into derivation. And I can understand every session brainstorming one, because we use our brain so that justification is available, reasons are available why did we do it, and that amounts to higher value than something conceptual, something conventional. So that's why I said, for going about these controls, and coordination is the leader of all controls. Coordination is the quality itself, and quality is coordination itself, because coordination is a part of mechanism of quality system, which we are all proud of. I have ISO 9000, I have this or that. I don't care for ISO 9000 if my product is excellent one. Without ISO 9000, it doesn't matter. But because we have to systemize something, we have to recognize something, we have to follow it. That's why system is also required. And systems aren't available, for example, we have to establish ourselves. We have to establish system ourselves. And that is beauty of engineering. You establish yourself. This means you define X-rays for required yourself. You don't need a body for X-ray. You don't need radiation to penetrate to body. You can decide yourself. You have to plan yourself what you are going to do, and what can be done again and again and again based on one consideration, one formula. So I sing deliberation, say, deliberation, I say, you are going to deliberate miscellaneously, but prime title is coordination engineering. Coordination engineering and engineering coordination, you are talking both. Engineering coordination, though there is not only engineering coordination in the world, there are other actually coordinations, but here we are talking of engineering, because if engineering is all set right, construction should be right. That's why I'm saying engineering is important, and engineering means not just one engineering, all areas of engineering in this: design engineering, construction engineering, quantity engineering, planning engineering, safety engineering, or whatever else you can say. whatever else, construction engineering. So we say, again I say, as I said yesterday also, I come back to same track, like coordination. From time to time we can say, we have to understand it properly, and if we cannot understand properly, then we can damage ourselves, we can even weaken our own strength. As said, coordination is not understood by many professionals, others in its right required spirit. And if you don't understand this as such, we make many mistakes together one time. We have to keep in mind that if I can't understand what I have to do, which way I have to do, what's right way, what's wrong way, or if I have to do something, do have enough information for that. And all those information I got from whatever source, being compatible or not, and if not compatible, then even if I want to do that job, I can't do that job. I can't take risk of just incompatibility. That is not acceptable. Compatibility is very important. Compatibility, consistent ability, or you can say composability, or you can say measurement of requirement, measurement of, you can say, building up. So many expressions can be given for that. Also, fact remains that without adequate and efficient coordination in professional engineering works cannot be successfully accomplished. This itself says that coordination, and that is not only ordinary coordination, efficient coordination is a must. It's a fact. Without that powerful coordination, we cannot do anything successfully in professional engineering, because professional engineering means engineering that works, engineering that creates something, engineering that defines logic, engineering that defines itself, what it is. And that's the reason coordination I'm trying to stress, because coordination is forgotten by many people, because it's not taught in education. If I can claim, I shall be right to admit. If I can claim, it shall be right to admit that coordination failure leads to engineering design construction failure, and there should be no doubt about this, because it's like accident. It's like an accident. You make or you meet when you don't understand what's coordination. What itself is coordination means there is a nation, there are so many nations in your work. You can say that way. There are so many nations in your work. And all those nations, here nations doesn't mean geographical nation, but nation requiring work means different kind of nations and different kind of activities. And if these nations have to exist, have to survive, then they should have certain information, right information, and to be applied at right time. It's not just availability of information, application of information. So that's why I say failure. If coordination fails in construction, in designs, if coordination fails, then you can say it's complete failure of construction and complete failure of designs if construction fails. It fails or it is incorrect done. Incorrectly done is also equivalent to failure. For many engineers, issue of coordination remains very delicate. For many engineers, it's thoughtful to be very delicate, najuk. And such engineers try to avoid involving in coordination complexity and just expect someone else should give final working drawings for work executions. I don't mind that. If a person on site, I can't expect that person, if that person is not very experienced or very well educated, to do something on its own. And moreover, because on sites, everybody is tired, always fatigued, And you can't expect performance of mental capacity during that thoughtful, through that fatigued situation, fatigued condition. You can't expect that person until that person has some relief from physical fitness, from physical fatigue. We have to keep in mind that. If somebody expects at that time, okay, I get this information, I'll implement it. This is very natural. It doesn't mean that that engineer does not know anything. That engineer knows it, but if I am in place of that engineer, I would also expect someone to help me or to scrutinize my work or my details I provide and get me right answer. Why you're done is fine. Though I know it's fine or not fine, but I'm unable to think due to work pressure or some other reason. I'm just giving explanation. Don't think it's that I am finalizing it. So we can say, in fact, I have experienced that engineers from around whole world, not only from one country, but also from all the countries can say, in fact, I have experienced that engineers from around whole world, scenario, majority engineers, population do not have any interest in working on coordination activities due to the essential requirement of concentrating or focusing constantly on engineering and in-depth technical issues involved. Very important topic here it is, because I'm not saying we can't do it, but people they don't bother about this. Engineers from around whole world, I'm not saying from one area to other area, I'm saying from around whole world, which I have observed, I've seen, I've experienced practically. Because coordination is very, very boring for them, or they can't concentrate, they can't sit together on many documents or many files together and to open them to see what's available, what's not available. Though it doesn't look sometimes work, some people can't say, oh, it's working, or this coordination, but how much work coordination is to do, that you cannot think at this moment. If you coordinate every work, every activity, every piece of drawing, every piece of information, it's better if you coordinate that way. To know each and every detail about something, though it's not directly related to that, but indirectly it may be related. And that's what we say, we have to coordinate together. And that coordination is only tool, is an only answer to get into what is required or what's not required. And that point is really wonderful to understand. And I can't say you may not understand that point, everybody understands. Because of you are under some pressure, you may not value that much. But your value giving or not value giving is not a final answer, is not a concluding answer. If you want to carry out that activity, if you want to carry out that work, there is no other alternative except that you have to coordinate and final answer, that or what a final information you get from collected information. Means you have to relate all documents together. You have to relate dimensions, you have to relate other issues, you have to understand what drawings say and what you have to construct and what's the problem coming in this construction. And that means that is coordination. And your coordination should be successful, and the success of coordination is not easy. And there is no start or end of one activity, and you have to coordinate all activities together. And this means this very, very, very difficult task in case when you handle it, but it's done by people. And solutions are, and I have not seen any project where all documents given by designers do have competency levels. And we have to change some of them, or sometimes in prime documents we change. And that's what I say, we have to consider very clearly. So problems are counted. Nobody says in whole world, I would do this. I can say, I have not seen anyone, nothing particular except. Means if you talk to those countries, which countries do not believe in writing or reading much. If In those countries, you can't see people writing fluently or fast, rapidly without any major application of details. They move together, but as far as coordination is concerned, as far as designs are concerned, as far as you can say, it's very difficult for them to communicate. They just want to be behind, storage work, a work where materials are stored, scrap others. It's their proof with the arguments. They have to see the people for our world, because office work is very boring for everyone. People don't, though they are engineers, they are well educated, they have well experienced, but they run away from responsibility sharing of physical activities. That's very important point, and we cannot just bypass that point. We cannot also say skip this point. We cannot say that. We have to stand on that point and confer about what title of that point is, what that point is. And that confirmation, that corroboration of your own to your own is very important in engineering world. So I say, I not see any person from around world who is very much interested in coordination work, because coordination work, first of all, it can't be measured. You cannot say, I have worked so many designs, I have worked so many solutions on, and this is usable, this result. Coordination doesn't mean that. Coordination says information should be available in time to that person who is going to do work for you. And if a single information is missed, you may have problems in that duration, and we cannot say that information is finally available. It depends upon what else do you need, because you are an engineer, you are operator of that project, and you have got designs from yourself. That is best answer I can say. Even if there is no urgency, it should be best designed. Probably constructible design, probably implementable design. So I can say I have seen very few people who are inclined to be coordination engineers. They like it to come in field and do it, but it's not very common. Some senior person, senior engineer may be considered, but in ordinary that's not. Well, I to move forward rather than sticking to that point. Problems are not counted in numbers. First you have to keep in mind. Problems are not counted in numbers, but in considering gravity of situation, complexity and strong decision making related to whatever works we do or items are involved. Problems are not counted in numbers. We have to keep in mind. You cannot say there will be 5 problems or 6 problems, 7 problems in this work. There can be no problem at all, or there can be many problems to be resolved with. And that's where coordination applies. It's not simply my decision or your decision. It is decisions from involved parameters and involved information available in other areas, in other documents. But since we are talking of a group of activities together on project or whatever, in that case we can say we have to consider what we have in hand on what we want to be reliable. So we can say problems are not 1 or 2, problems are not counted in numbers, but in considering gravity of situation, complexity and strong decision making related to whatever works items are involved. I think you understand this point. Numbers are not important. Will is important. Power is important. Numbers are not important. We consider this point at every level in life. Now maybe I'm young or I'm old, both, but I still, because I'm living with some satisfaction, my body does not think that way. So no problem. no problem. I have not put any respiration into that toy. I'm talking that. Had I cared with that, means I've seen roof from this point of view. We did not get. This means we have to consider very carefully. And again I say, problems are not numbered. Problems are power. Problems are powers. Problems have to be registered or to be resolved. But we have to understand gravity of situation, complexity of that situation, and we have to reach strong decisions. Strong decisions making related to whatever measure of construction. We go then, coordination definition is for sure necessary to be understood. Understood, you can say, for real meaning. Coordination definition we can say is for sure necessary to be understood for its real meaning, so that no mixing of results in. Means we have to be very concerned about coordination, because it's not in my hands what information is available, but I have to demand suppliers, what do we need other than vegetables? For example, we need something else. We have to make vegetable. If that something else is not available, we can't do that. Same applies here. The coordination definition is for sure very necessary, exclusively necessary to be understood for its real meaning, so that no mixing results in. And mixing means a state of confusion. A state of confusion in work. And state of confusion meaning indicates that right activity related to work cannot be carried out at right time if it's not clear. Time is clear or not clear, and you can say So what we say in this fact is that we can say, again I repeat this, coordination definition is for sure necessary to be understood for its real meaning, so that no mixing results in. Mixing means a state of confusion state of confusion in work, or state of confusion means indicates that right activity related to work cannot be carried out at right time in a correct way. And if you carry with mix of mind, we will make mistakes for sure. These mistakes then cannot be rectified. Or you can say in construction world cannot be carried out at right time. In the construction world, particularly structural and buildings, constructions, no limitation of drawings or detailing exists because of many reasons for that. In construction world, particularly structural buildings, construction, no limitation of drawings and detailing exists, and we all know that. Sometimes we want to keep ourselves, okay, I know this, I'll not show you on drawing, I'll take myself this care. But that is not right way. You are personalizing your work. You're not leaving others to join you, or that you don't believe in so-called, so-named, you know, details are not clear, or you can say, I'll take care of this, don't worry. It's easy to say, but when implication time comes in, you can't answer that. That's what I'm saying. No childish behavior, no childish conduct. We have to draw ourselves in the best possible manner. So construction world is different in particularly structural and buildings, construction, no limitation of drawings and detailing works. Even for a small building, you can say small building or structure, categories of drawings and details remain same, and as if it could be a major building. Let me put on switch bar, maybe it's 69 minutes remaining. Now, even for a small building or structure categories, we can say for a small building or structure categories of drawings and details remain same, as if it could be a major building. You can see that even if you design a small room, any whatever room, you have to deal with few items. You think so? Yes. For a structure, few items, and other disciplines, many items. We deal with that. But we have to see that structure is structure. It takes time. It does everything, and then it's going to be built. It's going to be cast. But it's because you have small business. Your permit is small. It happens. So, what I can say, I understand this point very well. So we can move forward, and I don't want to stay here for long. It's only half an hour more. I'll close it today's talk because of many reasons. That's why I put on switch again, so that battery is not down a little level. Now, I'd like to, it's very cold, 6 degrees, really surprising sometimes, I don't know. I'm not always comfortable, I'm not comfortable with my, you can say, I'm not comfortable with this stance here, and particularly in, you can say, in construction world, and particularly, as I said, structural buildings, construction, no limitation of drawings and detailings exists, and even for a small building or structure, categories of drawings and details remain same as if it could be a major building. Also depends on drawings, designing professional, depends on designing professional about how to apply drawings and detailings so that construction is personal. Construction personal should not refer back all. Refer back all we can say, times, every time, all times, every time for either confirmation or clarifications of various issues involved. Though this statement is a very small paragraph, but it has a wider impact, wider meaning, that really relates to quality of work, and quality can be impacted upon, or there can be incorrect sequences of procedures that we do if you know what I'm to say, if what is required is not available. What is required is not available, clarification are not available. And when we talk of clarifications, we talk of something very technical. We don't need clarification administratively, we take clarification, confirmation, engineering wise. There may be engineering issues, or there may be details which are not clear. Those details are not clear, must be made clear. information is confusing, or maybe you can say superfluous information, which cannot be done away, you can say carried out. Then we have to differentiate between them, and we have to obtain conclusive answer, a definite answer, this or that. One of two or one of many responses are available, many responses, and we cannot carry out all responses. So we can say it's every time generally on defective or quality-less designs. It happens just time where details are not qualitative, and even sometimes designs are also incomplete, incompetent, and we have to get more and more clarification. Sometimes we see on site that this design is not, doesn't look to be professional or doesn't look to be workable, rather than saying professional, doesn't look to be workable. Just like we say constructability or buildability is absent, or we can say that we cannot build it or we cannot control it until we have got this clarification. And that is, you can say, a kind of coordinational, you can say, intervention is a must in interest of work. This intervention is not that I'm going to disturb someone. This is different, that I have to do work, and I have lack of information. I can say this doesn't work. At that point, we have to see seriously, if not otherwise, and that seriousness should be visible. So we can say that every time when we do something, and if someone has some problem from viewpoint of view, getting confirmation or getting clarification, in that case we have to first obtain that clarification or to obtain that confirmation before that work is done. And if you don't do that, you will follow what is incorrect details and carry out incorrect works. And that is the reason of applicable coordination activity that adds something. And we also can say coordination can therefore be defined. Coordination can therefore be defined in a way that coordination can therefore be defined in a way that all branches of engineering and all disciplines involved in ongoing activity must be clearly described. Right? What we can say? We can say that coordination can therefore be defined in a way that all branches of engineering and all disciplines involved in ongoing activity must be clearly described and detailed in, so that no information is left out that could hold progress on activity or part of whatever activity. We can define this way, means what? We have all information available. That is first requirement, that's first consideration. We have all information that has to come from other branches of engineering as well as all disciplines of this engineering. We have complete information for this purpose. For this part of scope of work we have. That is first requirement. Whatever activity we are doing, we have all information available, that we must scrutinize ourselves. We must see all references. And if I say I have every information, or this information I don't have, then I have to request for that information from competent person. And when I get all this information, it gives me an indication that you can complete this activity. And that you can say, that is what we say. Essence of coordination is essence. Definition can be different, but essence of coordination. You should get required information at one time when you do that job, or you must have done homework on that. Whatever information that was confirmed that previously given, all right, in that case we can do that. So I can redefine it that way. Coordination can therefore be defined in a way or all branches of engineering and all disciplines involved in ongoing activity must be clearly defined and described or detailed in so that no information is left out or concealed that could hold progress on activity or part of whatever activity. Sorry. This means work should go on without any barricade. There should be no point that can hold that activity, and if that point is there available which holds this, we have to immediately resolve that missing information which gives red line to my work. And that's where I'm talking about red line, how this red line can be changed. If even one small information, you can say, if even one small information, I'm strictly saying small information, if even one small information is held without having adequate details, is not formally confirmed, if even one small information is held without having adequate details or is not formally confirmed activity wise, that activity can stop or it shall be carried out based on either correct or incorrect knowledge possessed by site team, which work could be considered in contravention of what designing team contemplated, consequently, and certainly leading to formal errors. Very important point. It's confirmed, it means a confirmed complexity, and it says if even one small information, not many, you may not consider that information at time of working, but when you start working, God, I did not have this detail, let me see where is it. So it means something is missing. And that's what I refer to if even one small information is not available, when I say held, or I don't have any adequate detail, it's not formally confirmed. This means if that situation, activity can stop. Or shall be carried out otherwise, based on either correct or incorrect, whatever information we have, both may happen and we shall amount to error or mistake, in which we shift that mistake to existing world situation. That error may be called slush, likewise. So we have to understand this point very clearly in terms of ourselves, and we can move forward. In that case, we have to take care of every information that is required, and we cannot leave it to time, because we have to leave it to God. So one small information can hold our work. You have to keep that in mind. Therefore, you have to keep in your mind that every information should be checked. We have to keep in mind when we study some drawing, I can see this time again. Hold ourselves. So what I said in this case is very important point here for every coordinator, every engineer to understand. It's not silence that I'm making, it's something that's very important to discover. And that's why I'm holding here for small information, because sometimes people don't care about this information. And that becomes very questionable. Information is information, small or big. Key of a car is very small, but engine is very big. And if you take out that key, you can't start the car. That's the point you consider. Now the very car. So we move to the next line. It's also a fact that no subject or no branch of coordination engineering is available for imparting professional education at any either diploma level or degree level, and even if considered up to doctorate level. And this is a fact that we don't have any coordination concentrating subjects on students to know what happens in the field, how it happens. I got my eye disease through sun. So we have to be very careful about this. That what is that? But that we have to fulfill. We have to, you can say, catch. You have to set right this deficiency in profession. But that deficiency is because of ours. We are not now. First of all, we are having large volumes of subjects, but separation is uniform. I can say absence of inclusion of this very specific, very significant subject within engineering program explicitly indicates and evidences that education professionals do not understand value of engineering coordination discipline. And we have to think about this. What is the reason behind that? Despite the coordination being extremely important, we must concentrate on this issue for purpose of grasp of coordination. Is coordination and communications work together, and based on coordination and communication skill, we have to decide about which path we have to go. We cannot take it as a complex that my son is not educated. It's not that. Subject is rather impressive, but it requires dedication. It requires not only dedication alone, but also a commitment or determination or will to do right. And we cannot always point that designer has caused this mistake or that mistake. That is not a real question. It may be mistake, doesn't matter. But we blame ourselves. It's another point we have to understand. My nature, my understanding, your nature. There are cases when we do mistakes, but there are also cases when we can learn from mistake and we can avoid mistakes. Both points are here. Both works together. We can make mistake and we can avoid mistake, and people who can avoid mistake or who can set mistakes right are real professionals, because question is that you have to set right mistake or error rather than just shouting and crying this or backbiting. This person has done this and that person has done that. That person doesn't care for engineering, otherwise that person becomes a slave to engineering. So we can say slave to work is very important, and you can say also that, as I said, absence of English is a very significant subject within the engineering program, explicitly indicates and evidence that educational professionals do not understand value of engineering coordination discipline, because they are socialized for teaching, and teacher is going to teach others. Sorry, we have to keep in mind such requirements, otherwise we cannot move forward. We have not to blame what educationists think. We are not to blame anyone here. We have to find solution, means what you say. So we should not say that also what happens in education, because those are educationists. Those people have only one purpose: to train theoretically students, and they have no expansion of that program. Yes, they have expansion for their own skill developments by adding more and more degree titles, not competency titles. And we also can say, moreover, it can't be called educationists' fault, because they do not remain active in the field of engineering, so this is not their fault. And of course, we do not remain in field of education, and we may not be able to talk to students about education, all syllabus, until we read that, we restudy that. That's all the point. We have to concentrate on that. Every action, every requirement is specialized. My work I can do, and educationist work, educational professor or lecturer, that can do. So we can say it cannot be called the educationer's fault, because they do not remain active in the field of engineering profession, and that's why not subject to attaining practical field professional experience. Coordination engineering. Coordination engineering is an unlimited world. I can simply say it can't expand its vistas to unlimited areas involving many disciplines in one branch of engineering, and also importing various branches of engineering depending on what class of works are affected. We shall talk of this continuously, because stars to everybody. what we are doing, what we are talking, it's not in just one talk we can finish it, because I'm talking my experience. I'm sharing experience with you for explanation purpose. Maybe I show you many references in future, what it was done, how we do it, and that's going to happen, which is not something very incredible. In fact, I'll show from time to time something else. So we can say we have to bear it. It's very important world, coordination world, can't be defected, you can say, can't be under appropriation, can't be discarded, and we have to keep. I'm doing showing this self-competency because of this requirement, which can't be you can say underestimated, can't be in terms of quality coordination. I'm now taking. Hope you got my point. You getting this point. I'm trying to move away from this talk today for next session, whenever it comes next day. I think you may feel happy with that conclusive talk today. Thank you very much.